Just moved in my new house today. Moving was hard, but I got squared away. Bells started ringing and chains rattled loud. I knew I'd moved in a haunted house. Still I made up in my mind to stay. Nothing was gonna drive me away.
Good morning, gentle people. Welcome to the Haunted Tents setup. I believe it's day 18. Just getting out here for the morning. And it looks like one of my chores today is going to be to get the blower out and blow off the driveway. The wind that we've had the last couple of days have been wreaking havoc on everything. It's got a lot of stuff blown in all over the place. And the driveway needs to be cleaned. Might make that my first chore for today. Let's see if I can get the kitty free here without killing myself. Ugh. There we go. Let him fill up and get into place. Sorry, that was kind of a wonky camera angle. Normal start of the day. Come out here, fix the kitty because the head gets stuck, and move the damn beast. So that's what we've got going on at the moment. Let me get the truck moved and we'll go in on a little bit more stuff. There we go. Truck's moved. And wonky camera angle. I gotta get used to this new camera. Of course, I always have problems with the old camera too, getting the right camera angle. Chores for today. First off, blowing off the driveway. That's number one. Number two is we've got three tubs left of stuff to come out. We need to get that out and start getting stuff into place. I got that in the graveyard, the box, and the two signs I need to hang. I'm literally going to be bouncing all over the place in the haunt today. Little things here, little things there. We still have the torture chamber to do. You know, I mean, the major props are in, but there's some detail work. The dummy has to get put up on the stocks and what have you that I haven't gotten to yet. So that's basically what we've got planned for today. Hopefully we will get to all of it today. I'd like to have today be the last day for dragging out tubs. I'd also like to do the get started on the sewer room today. I'm hoping we won't make it that far. Whether we do or not, that's another story. But let's see how far we can get, huh? Alright, driveway's blown. Usually a fairly easy job, a little bit more hard, contributed, or however you want to call it. Nose itch. With the maze set up. Electrical cord does not like being drug around through the maze. Before I get into bringing the tubs out, what have you, wanted to bring up haunt advertising. And I know it varies from city to city, state to state, what have you, but I know here in my area, Yakima, Washington, I've been told by the city code enforcement, due to being in a residential area and they're concerned about traffic and everything, they don't want me doing any advertising as far as TV, radio, that sort of thing. Me personally, they have no say on whether, you know, like a news crew stops by and wants to do a story on the haunt, whatever, you know, that's out of my control. They can't do anything about that. But if I go out and buy ad space in the newspaper, radio, TV, they kind of frown on that and they'll shut me down. So I've never done that. The way I've always done my haunt advertising, and we started with it years ago when we first opened, is I made up two different types of flyers. One to be posted, one to be handed out to people. And as many of you know, I sell produce during the summer. And, you know, that's our main livelihood. And my grower friends, you know, people I get my produce from, would take, you know, the flyers I had and either post them or hand them out or both. Over the years we've expanded that. There's 4 or 5 businesses in town that will post one of the flyers up, you know, in the store windows and stuff for me. And we've done that over the years. Also, I've gone to the 3 local networks here in town, ABC, NBC, CBS, and there's a couple others I could go to too, I guess. I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. But if you go to their websites, they usually have a calendar of events, for local area, for your local area. And I normally post something on their sites too. Let's see, the other one, and it's new for this year. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I'm utilizing Craigslist. Craigslist has a free section for community events. They have free stuff and then community events. And I went and I posted an ad for a haunt there. Don't know how that's going to work out. A lot of people use Craigslist, so might get hammered pretty good with just that. Another way that we've advertised, and we didn't do it last year, but we've done it off and on. We have a local radio station here. That's a talk radio. And they always have a morning show or an afternoon show where they're, they talk about local events, current things going on in our local area, what have you. And it seems like they always do one day of the week where it's a free-for-all. You can call in and talk about anything. And in the past, I've usually called up and I've mentioned, that I have my haunt going on. That works really good. It's totally free. You just drop your name, your location, tell them a little bit about what's going on, and they have you on air, so you're telling everybody who's listening to the station, where you're at, what have you. That has worked really good in the past. I did like 2 years in a row, and the third year they put me on the air, and one of the guys that was on the air, he goes, you should come down and buy advertising instead of just calling in like this, and just kind of soured me to the radio station. I spend about $6,000 on this haunt a year, roughly, buying supplies, especially all the foam panels and stuff. And now they want me to come in and spend another $6,000 to $7,000 just to get a little radio spot on, which would also violate, what the city's told me not to do. So I haven't done it in the last couple of years. But anyway, those are the different ways that we're advertising the haunt this year. We've got the flyers, the community event stuff on, the local TV stations. Newspaper has something like that too. I'm going to be hitting them up tonight probably and posting something there. And then I'm trying Craigslist out. I was kind of curious if anyone else had ever posted their haunt up on Craigslist for advertising. If you have, let me know. I'd be curious to see, hear, how it worked out for you. If you think you got very many people from your Craigslist posting. So, but anyway, just kind of wanted to touch base on that. We've never really covered advertising, in any of my regular vlogs or set of vlogs. I think I've mentioned the flyers and the radio thing before, but anyway, now the driveway's done and I've sat here on my butt, smoked my cigar a little bit and ran my mouth. It's time to get some serious work done. Time to go get some tubs out and get the rest of the stuff set up. Okay, I think this is probably the second or third segment I've done today. Haven't been vlogging all that much. I've been kind of running all over the place. But we'll give you a walkthrough of the haunt as it stands right now. And we got the torture chamber done today. It's basically ready for lighting and electrical. We got that done. I did a little bit in the cornhole, had some scrap stuff. Push through the cornhole here. And I'm sorry for the lack of segments. I've just been kind of bouncing from one place to the other today, and so has the wife. The wife's been out here doing quite a bit of work too. And then you see the spider display. It hasn't changed overly much. She has done a little bit more cobwebbing in here. She's not going to do any more until I get my wiring done. And then we're into the Pirate, and here's one with a major change. You saw a little bit of it yesterday with or last night, but she's got her bottles in. And I still gotta bring the swords out for the box yet. We got our lanterns hung. And then the ship's wheel, and there's assorted bottles just kind of scattered out through here. And that's my wife's work. She's been working on the costuming and bottles. The next one is the gypsy display. And that's our scrying bowl there. Still needs its light and water. But it's pretty much ready for electrical. And then I decided to hang the heads in here as well. So we got that. And then we hung that big fan there with the lamp underneath. And then into the ghost hall. Now in here, yikes! Sorry about that, got hooked on the fence. I gotta get these fences are very grabby today. Only things we've gotten done today is I got a rat on the speaker over there and over there, and we got this guy done. He's shackled, and we'll kind of back up so you can see him a little bit better. So we got that done in here today. Witch's display. My wife's got all her bottles and stuff out here. We still need to get all the goodies and stuff into them. So there's your witch's display, and of course she's got her magic broom. It won't move around on the grass. It doesn't move around on hard surfaces all that much. Then we did put up a few things in the entrance hall here, or exit hall I should say. The other thing we got done was our photo op this year. And that is extremely popular. And then we got a couple of little plaques up here. That's pretty much the extent of what we've gotten done so far. Oh, a little bit in the graveyard. Sorry about that. She got masks on. Just getting ready to start in the chain hall. I'm going to get that done today. We've got 4 skeletons out here. They're going to be shackled and positioned on the walls in the corners, and I gotta get the scene setter wallpaper also repaired. Found a second spot that needed to be restapled. So we're gonna finish the day out working on that. And past that, I think we're gonna be done for the day out here. Want to try to get to bed halfway decent. I'm getting to bed around 11, 12 o'clock. But I don't know. It depends on what goes on, because I get downstairs and I get into things, and I still have some music files and sound files I need to download for the haunt this year too, which I don't do while I'm editing and uploading vlogs. I've screwed some vlogs up trying to do that. But everything in the tubs is finished. The top tub there is some leftover lighting. I don't know if we're going to end up using it or not. I left it out here just in case. The bottom tub has some mishkabibble decorations that can be scattered throughout the haunt. I leave that up to the wife depending on where she wants to put it. And then I have the 2 giant axes there. Have no idea where I'm going to put them this year. Not to mention, I still have 3 skeleton dogs in the back, and I think about 10 more skeletons still in their boxes in the shop. And it probably won't be getting used this year, because we just don't have the room for them. But now that I've got them, I can do various props and stuff like that. But anyway, that's kind of the update that we've got now. Only other segment you're going to probably get is a walkthrough on the chain haul once I get it finished. So, sit tight. Good evening, all. It's flaming warm, or flaming hot. Sounds better. No, it's not. It's chilly. End of the day. I'm getting ready to call it quits. And figured I'd show you the chain haul. I got that finished, as well as the fence. I got it up into position across the way, so now the only way down the driveway is through here. And I'm going to shut the coffin door, so hold on just a second. There we go. Back to George. Oh, that's kind of neat. It's one of those flame lights, battery operated one, like the one in the torture chamber room. I figured I'd show you the skellies, and I'll give you another look at them during the day tomorrow. Now the chain haul is going to have 4 lights in it. 4 red floods, and each flood's going to be aimed at a skeleton. There's 4 skeletons in here. Kind of go like that where you can see them a little bit there. But other than that, there isn't going to be any lights in there. So it should make it fun for people trying to navigate. It'll be kind of dark and light and dark and light. I don't know how bright it's going to be. But that's the back side of the gate. And as you can see, we got the photo op moved in here. That way people don't try to walk off with it. They could still cut the skellies and take them if they wanted. But no biggie. But anyway, with the walkthrough clip I gave you earlier, and what I just showed you, that's the extent of the work that we have done today. Spent more time running the damn maze than I did anything else. Okay, let's see how it turns off. There's the switch. Oh, yep, early evening wrap-up, or late evening wrap-up. It's going on about 8:30. Knocking it off. Tomorrow, word of warning, I am not sure how long the vlog is going to be. It might be a very short vlog tomorrow. Only major thing I have left to do, and it's getting done tomorrow, is the blacklight room. I got to put the liners in the ponds and get the fences up in that room. Then I can go through to painting detail, some painting touch-ups on a couple of things, and then it'll be right into electrical wiring. I expect the sewer room to take the better part of the day. Between the liners and the fences, it's gonna take a while. It does every year. So I don't know how much I'll be grabbing the camera tomorrow. I know I didn't grab the camera much today. There really wasn't a whole lot in one area to really show other than the torture chamber and now the chain haul. But tomorrow we start getting the liners in and the fences up in the sewer room. So that's on the docket for tomorrow. To my breakfast club, fan club, whatever you want to call it, the breakfast guys. Good morning to you all. Good night to the rest of you. Stay spooky. Stay toxic. Hey peeps, welcome. I think it's build day 19 today. Drips. We've got a rain day today, and it's going to be raining all day long. Is that going to preclude me from doing anything out in the haunt? Nope. Today's one of those magic days for me. It's a day I wait for every year. I get to get the liners. Yes, we're going through the chain haul. I can't go the other way, the gate's up. But we're working in the sewer room again today. And today's the day the liner goes in to the ponds. And I can put the fencing up after I get that done. And it's something I look forward to every year, because that means we're one step closer to adding the water And we like adding the water. Water won't go in probably for another week or so, but I do need to get the liners in order to get the fencing up, in order to get the props into their final spots and everything else. So we're going to be working on that today. With it being rainy out, it's a perfect day for it because it's underneath that big tent right there, which means once I get my plastic tarp in there for the liner and my tools in there, I get to stay nice and dry instead of being out here getting dripped on, which is something I'm looking forward to. Now let me get this camera put down, the truck moved, and we'll go in and I'll kind of go over what we need to do. I think Mother Nature is going to make a liar out of me. Well, we still got a lot of clouds up there and it's still kind of dripping here and there. The sun's starting to come out. But anyway, we're in the sewer room. I got the tarp I'm going to be using in the truck. I'll go over that as soon as I get it in here. But my first order of business is we're going to start one pond at a time. I'm going to start on this side. We got to take everything out and put it over here. So this is totally empty. And then I got to get the fence panels moved. And I'm going to get started on that right now. Actually, I'm going to get my tools in here. Sorry, hand shot. I'm going to get my tools in here and then we'll start getting things moved. And then I'll go over the type of tarp that we use and what have you. So you can get an idea what's what on this drippy wet day. Okay, got my tools out here, got the tarp out here, and we've got the first pond emptied. And it's a little crowded, especially over that way with the fencing. It is, you can't get through. Wanted to cover the tarp. Got this down at Home Depot. It's a clear tarp, and they've also got rolls of black tarp you can get. The black tarp normally comes in 10-foot roll, 10-foot width by 100-foot length. The clear tarp you can get up to 20-foot wide by 100-foot long. It runs about $98 for a 100-foot roll. If you get the 10-foot wide version, that's usually around $58. And 100 feet of it goes a long way. This one here, like I said, it's 20 foot by 100 foot. And it's a 6 mil thick plastic. In other words, it's fairly thick. Most painters' tarp is like a 2 or a 3 mil and it's fairly flimsy. You breathe at it, you poke a hole in it. This stuff is a lot thicker, about twice the normal thickness, and it works really great for partitioning off walls, for doing the ponds, what have you. Now, with mine, a 20-foot width on that tarp is the same size as this tent. It's actually 20 foot from that pole all the way over the other side. So it's a lot wider than what I need if I was only going to do one layer. What I do when I'm doing these tarps, when I'm doing these ponds, is I actually double it up. You know, instead of just putting one layer down, I fold the tarp in half and then put it in. And that makes it a lot stronger and stuff, you know, due to water and stretching and everything else. And if the outer surface that's up against next to water gets a hole in it, the bottom surface will catch it, hopefully. It doesn't always, but hopefully. So what I'm going to need to do now is I need to open that box, get the roll out, and I need to do a 20-foot long section going that way before I open up the tarp. Cut it off, and then we'll fold it open so it's about 10 foot wide, which is basically roughly what we need. Actually, I'm trying to figure out how to word this so it makes more sense. So it's 20 foot wide. I only want a 10 foot section of it. So, you know, we'll fold it in half. We lay it in the pond, and I'll start along the wall there, and we go through, fold it up over the lip, and just run a series of staples down it to hold it in. Then we'll tuck it down into the pond over here and up this side and staple that in. But I always do one side first and then come over and do the other side. It's just too hard trying to do both sides at the same time. Plus your arms aren't long enough. I'm going to get started on this. We'll give you more on it as we get along. Got started on the first liner. I know it looks like a disaster area, and it is. What I've done in here so far is I started against the wall, went down, got it all stapled, kind of tucked down a little bit about where it went to go. When I made the slant back there, I ended up with some excess going up the wall, so I got that trimmed off as well. Now, both the far end of the pond and this end of the pond, I'm not going to worry about stapling down at this point in time. Right now, I just want to work on this edge and this edge. And so this edge over here that runs underneath the tarp, you really can't see, is the next thing I need to staple. My problem is with this tarp being 20 foot wide, I've got a bucket load of excess going down the aisleway, and it's just too much to manage trying to staple down that center not even center, the outside edge of the pool. There you go. That worked a little bit better. So what I'm going to have to do is I need to come back and cut away most of this excess, but leave a foot or two. I need to be able to have a little bit of excess so I can tuck the liner into the frame, and be able to staple it down. I don't want to cut too much off and end up with having the liner only coming up halfway up the outside rail of the pond. So I'm going to do that, and then once this outside edge is done, I'll come back here and give you a look at it, and then go over why I'm leaving the ends loose. Okay, got the extra cut away. Still have a lot of excess, but I need that. I want excess so I can be able to tuck it into place, kinda. Now this outside rail of the pond, it's time to start getting the liner kind of tucked inside the side and getting this outside rail stapled. And as it gets stapled, I'll cut off excess along the way too. And next thing, should have this done and fitted from side to side. Okay, not quite done with it yet, but we're getting there. I still have this end to do, and I was going to wait, and I wanted to talk to you guys about doing the ends, before I actually did them. And I could say what you just saw for the ponds is exactly the way I wanted it. It went in no problem. I did fine. That's not true. I fucked up. Screwed up. Excuse the French. I screwed up. I had all that extra tarp laying through here, and I went through and cut I cut the excess off, and I left a little bit extra. You see that there, I got it cut off. But when I cut it off, I screwed up down at this end, and I didn't leave enough extra sticking out. So as I was doing the pond liner, I got down to this point, and hello, Morgan.
Good morning, Daddy.
And what about everyone on YouTube?
Hello.
Hello. And off she goes. She was out here checking on me. But anyway, as I was saying, I cut my excess off, all that excess off, and I left me about 1 foot to 2 foot, just to play it safe in case I needed it. And with this being an angle, and with all the excess, I couldn't watch it very good, and I went more straight on my cut than I did, following the angle out. And when I got down here, the liner was actually starting to go down the side of my rim. And by the time I got down to the corner, it would have been down to about here, which is unacceptable. I would have had a major leak right there. So in order to fix it, and the wife and I had originally talked about this because of the weird angle and stuff of the pond, we were thinking about stopping the pond, not even going to that corner, and having our, since we're going to have a barrel on the platform like that one over there, here anyway, just go up and around the platform and call it quits. I said no, I wanted the pond, the way it was. Well, my wife's getting her wish. The pond's going to the outside of the platform. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'll either leave this or I'll end up taking it off. But either way, the barrel will overhang it so people won't trip on it and stuff if I leave it. And I might end up leaving it. I could just take this board off. I don't know. Anyway, that's something I'm going to mess with once I get done with all the liners before I put the fence on. The only thing that's going to screw me up on is my fence count. Because I measured everything for the fence. So I just might leave it as is, and I got a couple little miscellaneous props. I could put the speaker there with a rat on it for one, you know, and that would hide the hole. But anyway, I had that mess up. Now what I wanted to cover on doing the ends is a wadding problem. Even if this, let's see, how do we cover this here? Okay, when you're doing liners like this on grass or on cement, you want to make sure your liners run from the top of the rail all the way down the side to the bottom of the rail. But you also want to leave just a little bit extra in there. For the simple fact, the weight of that water sitting in there for several days is actually going to make the ground bow or bowl a little bit, and you want to have enough extra liner in there to take account for that. You don't need much, you need a little bit. As a result, you're going to get some ripples in here. Now, if the pond was totally straight and I didn't have the weird angles on here, it'd be a lot easier. But with these weird angles, it's really hard to get rid of all the ripples. It's almost impossible to get rid of all the ripples, especially when you get to tight corners like that one there, and I've got those two down there. The main portion, you can suck it right up, you know, to the base of your rail, fold it up, staple it, you're fine. But when you get into the corner and you've got, you know, you've been pushing it to the bottom of the rail there, pushing it to the bottom of the rail there, and you get over here, and you end up with this big, huge congeal of plastic. And it's like wrapping a very odd-shaped Christmas package. You know, that's about the best way I can think of explaining it. And you need to be real careful with it. You don't want the folds extremely tight, because when the water gets in there, it can pop it just from the weight of the water. You don't want to leave it too loose, because you get a lot of ripples in it. It takes a little bit of practice. And believe me, like with this screw up, it seems like every year I'm having to replace one liner somewhere, because I either screwed up like this, or I wrapped a corner too tight, or while walking around in there or something, I had a screw on the bottom of my shoe or something I didn't realize, and I'm sitting there poking holes in it, and the liner ends up with holes. And you can't tell the liner has holes in it until you put your water in it, let it sit overnight, and you come out in the morning and it's like the pond's empty. It's like, okay, I got a hole somewhere. But anyway, I got this end to do. And one other thing I should suggest too, before you put your liners in, after you get your frames put together, when you're taking all your props out, go over the grass real good. Make sure there's no nails or screws or sharp objects down in that grass. If you have a magnet, run a magnet over that area. Pick up anything sharp. I did that with this one. You know, I had a little round magnet, and I just got magnet. I got down my hands and knees and just swept over it, and I found about 4 or 5 screws in there that I could not see with my naked eye. And the reason why, you know, like I said, the weight of that water is going to make that tarp bow down, you know, a little bit, you know, on the ground. And if it's sitting on a screw, as soon as you get the weight of the water on that screw is going to poke a hole right in the liner. And you'll end up having to drain the pond, take the liner out, put a new one in. And that is really messy. Okay, one pond officially finished. You go, so I'm going to put that rat over there in the corner. It's kind of hard to see it from this angle. But that will kind of hide that hole. And what I might end up doing is we've got a ton of corn stalks left over. I might just say the hell with it and just fill that move the speaker back over to there, slide the barrel over this way a little bit, and stick a bunch of corn stalks in right there. I don't know. Something I'm going to have to think about. Not something I can mess with at a later date, or I'll just leave it just like that. But everything's pretty much back in its place. I've got that guy moved down here a little bit more because I want to plug him in and check his swing, you know, back and forth. He does, you know, rotate 180 degrees either side, and I want to make sure this hand doesn't come anywhere near this rail. Probably does need to be moved back over this way, but my thing is I don't want people reaching through and grabbing them and stuff. I always worry about that with that guy for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, one pond done. Next one is this pond here. Gotta get that barrel and the platform out, my tools out, the rat and the speaker out, the skeleton and the staffs down here out, and get that barrel off and out of the way. And then I can come in here. Oh, gotta get the fountain out of the way too. I gotta be able to staple the tarp to the lip. But then I'll come in and get the liner in this one. But for right now, it's just a little afternoon. Haven't had breakfast yet. I'm going to go get something to eat, and then we'll come out and tackle this other pond. Okay, second pond is done. Got a few of the props in, all the props in actually, except for the barrel down there. And the reason why there's no barrel down here is I've actually got a fence panel to come in here. And I'm debating on whether I'll put that in or not. I might not, just put the stake there to hold this end of the fence. But until I make up my mind, it's barrel staying off. But both the liners are in. No screw ups on this one, not like that one. But so now we're ready for fencing, which means I need to go cut a bunch of fence posts, and we'll go from there. And that's kind of fun. It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, trying to remember which size panel of fence goes in which area. So that's the next step. We got one thing done to work on something else. It's always something to do when you're running a haunted house. Okay, people, as I feared, it took all day to do the sewer room. It is now almost 6:30. We've got the fences up, and we got the liners in the ponds, and I thought I'd give you a look. Room looks so much more different with the fencing up. I gotta get that speaker and the rat that goes with it over onto its thing. And we got that guy in his barrel. But here's a good look at this year's sewer room. We still need to get the lights up, electrical ran, the Scooby-Doo board in here, and most importantly, water and the things that need water. Also, another thing I was correct on too is it's been raining off and on all day. We had maybe like an hour and a half or so earlier today where the sun actually came out. Then the clouds covered back up, and it's been drizzling all day. It is extremely humid, extremely damp, even in the tents. And the last thing I was going to do for today was go through, get my black paint out. I got to go through and paint all the 2x2s and stuff in here. Some of the fence pillars need touch-ups. Some of the tombstones out in the graveyard need touch-ups. Problem is, it's too wet, too humid. Any paint I put on anything is just going to run right off, especially on the stuff outside that's getting rained on. So, not sure if I'm going to be doing anything after dinner out here or not, as wet as it is. So I am thinking, due to the weather, I'm going to call it quits. Last thing I need to do is be out here in the rain catching a cold and be sick in bed during the time we're open. So I think I'm going to call it quits. Hate doing it too. I like to at least get my painting done. That was on my docket for today. Nice thing is it's about an hour and a half to go through and do all my touch-ups. So we can do that. I'm just anxious to get lighting and power in. Especially in this display out of all of them. That way I can see, you know, with the water and everything else, what it's going to look like. I'm really excited about doing that. But I think we're going to call it due to rain. I'm going to go in and warm up. I've been out in the damp and wet all day. I'm already sniffling. So I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow. Breakfast Club. An apple fritter a day keeps the doctor away, and chase it down with a good cup of Starbucks. Stay spooky. Stay toxic.